I have an email I want to get to from a guy by the name of Herman Bradley. And he writes, Jesse, I am somewhat confused. If we are to be an observer, not judging our thoughts, how do we interpret our needs? How does one distinguish between thoughts that are destructive versus constructive? Some thoughts I see for what they are from the devil, but some thoughts seem to be necessary to carry out life's duty. Then he wrote, help. Isn't that a good email?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a really good.
And I read it pretty good. I was all nervous.
See, you can read
I talk about everybody else, right? And so what I did while I was reading, I looked ahead for the next word so I could already know what it is by the time I get there. I think that's when you do it, right, Christine?
Absolutely. You're looking at like 4 or 5 words ahead as you're reading this one.
Yeah. I was told that when you read, you should look ahead at the next word so you already know. Whereas before, I would look at the word. I am somewhat confused. So, if we are to be an observer, not judging our thoughts, how do we interpret our needs? That's an excellent question. You know, the sad thing about what we're talking about is that we all have that ability to observe life, and it does work like that. But we've been so dumbed down with teaching from day one about truth and about lies, about good, about evil, until now it's even hard to live and observe life. That's what Adam had prior to sinning. He and God communicate without verbal words. You know, you can do that. I don't know if you ever tried this or not, but you can talk to a person without saying a word. Anybody ever done that? No? I remember when I used to date a lot and I would go to the club and I see a girl across the room. You ever done this? And you can let her know you want her, and she'll let you know she want you without a word.
Yeah.
Anybody ever done that?
Yeah.
I hate to use that one, but that's the only one I can think of right now. My grandmother used to look at me and didn't have to say a word either. And I knew to go sit down, or shut up, or I was going to get a whooping. That has happened.
You're talking about body language.
Sometimes I just see it in her eyes. It's like I look at her, she's not moving at all. And I knew if I didn't go sit down, it's over. But you really can communicate without words. There's a voiceless voice.
Think about someone, they call you.
Yeah, that's right. That's another good one. Yes, sir.
You know, to kind of simplify a certain intelligence that you can have in the moment, you see it in sports a lot. There's a phrase called presence of mind, and it means that you have the ability to discern the situation. All the best players have a presence of mind, that you can discern what is actually happening instead of something that you've made up in your head, and then deal with it to make the outcome work the way you want. And all it is an observational attitude. You see the same thing in martial arts. I remember my brother is an expert auto mechanic, and he told me one time he went to a auto mechanics thing where these guys go against each other and have a competition.
Right.
And he said there was a thing where you have to like open the hood and then discern whatever is wrong with the car and then fix it within a certain period of time to win. And he said he went at it and opened the hood up and just looked at it with kind of, I guess, an open mind. And he was able to just kind of sense what needed to be done in the car, make the corrections, and he ended up placing really, really high in the competition. He did it fantastic.
I totally believe that.
Because of that.
Yeah, that is possible. Absolutely. Absolutely possible. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
The Bible, because of the heart of mankind, over the years been rewritten and things left out and things put in that are not true or maybe true. You can't really put your faith in that because it is so messed up nowadays. It's good to read it though. You know, open up, read something, put it away. But do not put your faith in it because it has been changed over the years like you wouldn't even imagine. If someone asks, which thoughts are, how do you determine the destructive versus constructive thoughts? What would you say?
I would tell the person that both are wrong, both are evil. You just observe and see. Both thoughts are evil.
Absolutely. Both are wrong. both thoughts that are destructive versus constructive, they both are wrong. And they are both straight out of hell. They are both from the deceiver. They both set you up to fail in life. And if you can test it this week, I want you to go with your positive, your constructive thoughts and see what happens to you. They are both a setup. They don't work. And then if you try to go with the constructive one, it just sets you up to try to keep repairing it, going back, doing it over. They don't work at all. That's why you have to learn to observe those thoughts and not believe any of them. If you could doubt the thoughts, which is from the devil, then you shall know the truth. You will believe back into the truth. But as long as you are believing those thoughts, you never, ever, 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 but never gonna believe the truth. They're both wrong. So if someone was walking down the road and asked me, I would say, hey, don't believe either one of them. Both are set up. And that's the truth. God said that we can't even begin to know his thoughts. You can't think at all about what God's thoughts are. You can come up with positive thoughts until the cows come home, and they will all be wrong. You can think about what God would think about this. You know, I hear some Christians say, well, I make decisions based on what God would do. What would God say about this? And they're all wrong. You can't think his thoughts at all. You really can't. But what happened to me, and the reason I know this to be true, is that once he took away my anger, my resentment, which was of my father, the devil, because when you have that resentment, all of your thoughts are connected to your father, the devil thoughts. That's why you hear from him so well. You know, you could be walking down the road and the two of you will have a real live conversation. Oh yeah, that's right. Have you ever done that? You know, like something will come, you say, oh yeah, that's right. I need to do this, I need to do that. That's you and your father, the devil, talking. And you can hear it because your anger connects you to his voice. And you're disconnected from that voiceless voice. So when God took away my anger, he allowed me to hear or see in a different light. And his voice, there are no words that you can hear, audible words. It's like a seeing. He allows you to just see what is because you're calm enough now to see what's going on. That's why I like the car example. Because when you're not connected to voice, destructive or constructive, you're calm in life and things are revealed to you, and that's how you know. And once they are revealed to you, it's clear, no doubt about it. It doesn't bring any confusion. There's no going back to repair it. There's no mistake about it. It brings peace and love and everything once he reveals it to you. And that's why he said his people will know his voice, because there are two voices going on, one in your head and one in your heart. And that's the one you're going to become familiar with as you overcome your father, the devil's voice. So the only way you're going to know this is that you must enter into the kingdom of heaven within so that you can recognize this other voice. And once you recognize it, that's it. And then this voice up here started to vanish away. It seems as though it's out there now and not controlling you in here. You can see that voice. It still comes and try to talk to you, but you can see it and you recognize that as a different voice from your father's voice. You know not to follow that voice without even trying not to follow it. That makes sense? Yeah. But you got to get rid of your other nature in order for that to happen. And you could have a glimpse of it along the way, something to remind you of something like, oh yeah, that's clear. If you're a seeker or you're on your way, but you want to get to a point where it's become a way of life for you, that you recognize your father's voice from your other father's voice. And so there are no such things as, God is not going to, as a constructive versus destructive. God is not going to give you anything that's destructive. And I don't know if he called it constructive either. It's just love. He loves you. He's guided his children with truth. And truth is love. But you got to get rid of the anger first. You're not going to have it As long, you must be born again. You need a new nature. You need a new identity. All right, yes, ma'am.
The other day I don't know what love is really. I hear it, and everything, but I don't really know what it is. And the other day I wanted to love somebody that I haven't loved in the past.
Right.
And it was the first time I ever just admitted I don't know what love is. I don't know what to say.
Right on.
I don't know where God is. I don't, but I wanted to do right. And I hardly ever do that. But,
Stephanie gave a good example too about she wanted her business to increase.
yeah, I thought
But
I liked that.
yeah, she couldn't make it happen. Doesn't matter all these thoughts that come in to make do this, do that, do this. It doesn't work. And if it does work, you're so worn out you can't enjoy it because all your little energy gone now and everything. But so she let go. So what she let go of is to thinking about it, trying to make it happen. And the moment you let go of that, then the answer will come because you have the ability now to wait upon that. And then it just start working out. It will work out. It absolutely will work out when you let go. But if you think you have a positive thought or constructive thought, then you're not going to let go. You're just going to come up with another thought to try to make it happen. But when you're listening to God's voice, you are not in control of anything, and it is happening. It unfolds by itself when you become an observer of life and not a creator of life. It's so much easier to live that way too. It's less painful, no headaches. You don't have to visit a doctor every day. You don't have to go back and apologize. You don't mess up your children or your relationships, whatever it may be, when you let go and let it happen. But you cannot let it happen when you're involved in thinking. So as a man thinketh, so as it is. And that's where all hell is.